Hello, hello. We are back streaming. Okay. So yeah. Let's just go ahead and get started, I guess. Just making a GUI library today. I know I'm kind of bouncing between projects. But I do think making a GUI library will help a lot with making other plugins. Especially with Astra. If I get this done, I can use it in Astra. Then it'd be fine, no problem. Alright. Also, I am a bit tired. I haven't had much sleep, but it's fine. We're rolling. Just copying over some things that we'll need. There you go. So I have a couple. I have kind of a layout or a general idea of what I want to do with this library. First things first, I want it to be either a library or an API. So it could either be a plugin or just a standalone library. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First reason is if you use it on your server, then the plugins that hook into it or that use the library will instead use the API or the plugin. And if you don't have it, or yeah, so if you have it on the server as a plugin, all the other plugins that use it will hook into it, and they will share any quote unquote actions that those plugins create for their menus. So you can use them in other plugins for their menus. So it's just basically like if you use the plugin, you can have more more compatibility between different plugins. And if you just use it as a library, then it'll still work for your plugin alone. But it just won't hook into other plugins, essentially. And also the standalone plugin, I might make it so that you can make your own menus in it, kind of like deluxe menus. I think that might be alright. That'd be a good idea. Let's say fabled menus. So this is going to be our main class. I'm going to say suffix plugin. This is our plugins main class. There we go. Okay. And now we'll have a labeled menus class and this will handle all of the different managers and stuff that we'll create. Like, it will have a menu manager, which will store all the menus that you create in your plugin, and that menu manager will be stored in here instead of in here. So yeah, this is kind of like an independent kind of class. It'll be independent of the main class here. Alright. So we'll say we'll have a get instance of this. And we'll say all this. Okay. So well, this as protected, although actually we don't need protected there. So we'll go here. No. We'll have a fabled menus instance. And this one will have its own instance of fabled menus, right? So this one will say if plugin get plug manager get plugin fabled menus not equal null, and then we will say return fabled menus plugin get instance get fabled menus, just like that. Protected menus get fabled menus again. Doesn't actually have to be protected. There we go. So that will return that. If you have the plugin, it'll return this plugin's instance of the menu manager stuff. And then otherwise it'll say set it return new fabled menus. I think we'll just do that. So that way they can store it in there, store it wherever they want. We'll have to see. We'll have to look at this again. I think. Yeah, so this is a standalone one. This will always return your own instance of it. This one will return just either this plugin's instance of it or a new one. Get an instance of menus class, right? A new instance of the one use if the fabled menus plugin is not on the server. Or hello, welcome in. I did. I just didn't ping Astra because I'm not working on Astra. I pinged in my main Discord. And also I just started, so you didn't almost miss it, technically. Are you in my main Discord or are you in the Astra Discord? Because I didn't ping the Astra Discord, I only pinged my main Discord. I didn't ping the Astra Discord because I'm not working on Astra, right? Yeah, I didn't ping an Astra. I know it's probably annoying to have to join 2 different Discords, but I just kind of had, yeah, I don't know why, but a while ago I made a new Discord just for Astra, and then I started streaming, and then I started using my other Discord more, so. So what I'm doing today is I'm making a menu GUI library / plugin. Fabled is just my development group name. Fabled Development. I only called it that because fabled.dev was available. No, I mean, I don't know. I think people get the impression that these streams I'm doing are for tutorials sake. They're not exactly for tutorials, but obviously, yes, they can be used to learn from. So I'm not necessarily doing tutorial stuff specifically, but I am wanting to do a paper tutorial series, stream series. So I'll stream like doing paper tutorials, but I do need suggestions on where to start with that, or like what I should do tutorials on. I might start off with just like the basic, like making commands and listeners, but from after that, I'm not sure where to go from there. I'm talking to you because you asked if we've made APIs yet, and I'm not sure what you mean by that. Or are you just talking about the development group that I'm in? It's not really. It's only me in it. I'm the only person in it. Technically. Hello, and Andre. I assume your name is. I assume that's how you pronounce Andre. Yeah, obviously, this is not gonna work because it's protected and stuff. So I'm gonna have to make it public. cool. Cool. Welcome in. No, but that is what we're making right now. We're making a GUI library / plugin. Oops, that's not what I did. There we go. Yeah. I'll probably have a way to create paginated menus, but probably not from a config file, like other menus, because it's way more complicated. At least not the plugin side. Yeah, because I want the ability to create a menu from a config YML file. So there's going to be a specific structure on how to set up normal menus. But then obviously paginated menus are special because they'll have different things or different config values depending on what you're using a paginated menu for. So I think I'm going to keep that paginated stuff on the code side. Obviously, if you use this library in your plugin, then you can do whatever you want with the paginated stuff. You just have to, there will be methods and stuff to handle pagination for you, but, the config stuff specific for the paginated things that you're paginating, you'll have to define yourself pretty much. It doesn't really make sense when I say it like that, but it'll all come together, I'm sure. So menus themselves are not that hard to make at all. Um, hmm. Yeah, so menus themselves are not hard to make at all. It's just pagination is a bit more complicated, and then having being able to click on the items to do different things, that's also more complicated. And having click requirements and all that. I've done it plenty of times before. It's just the only reason I don't like doing it anymore is because I've done it so many times. So hopefully this library will be the last time I have to do it, and I just work on this instead. There you go. Yeah, but there's also a little bit of math to it because you can't just start at the start of the list every time for every page. Otherwise, you'll have the same contents on every page. So you gotta kind of get the amount of slots that the paginated items will go into. So like say there's 10 slots on each page. So that means page 2 you gotta start at index 10 and then go to index 19, and then page 3 start at index 20, go to 29, etc. There's a little bit of math involved, but that's the gist of it. Define separated lists. You're talking about like multiple lists? The point of pagination is that it's automated. You don't add them manually. If you add every item manually, there's no point of pagination. You just make different menus for each page. Okay, so this page is going to be an optional thing. Well, you have GUI pages and then you have pagination. Pages is just manually creating a new page. Pagination dynamically creates a new page based on how much stuff you have in your list and if it doesn't fit on the first page. Because otherwise, you wouldn't need pages if you didn't have too many things to fit on one page. And, you know, there would be no point of having the list in the first place if you know exactly what you're putting on the pages, right? Say you want to make an inventory for like items that people can't pick up, or like when they die, or like what's a good example is like a gift plugin. When you do /gift and then you give a player an item, it goes to their gift inventory, and then that will dynamically change and add pages to it if they run out of room in their gift inventory. Well, yeah, obviously you can mix pages and pagination. You have auction house, you have the main menu, that's just one menu, and then you have like view all auctions or whatever, and then, you know, that's going to be a paginated menu with an unknown number of auctions and listings, right? Well, the whole point of pagination is that it's automatic and it dynamically creates new pages for you. And the pages will look the same besides what's being paginated inside of it. I don't know, there's many different use cases for pagination. Like a top menu where you want to, or just not a top, but like a balance menu where you want to view every player's balance in a GUI for some reason. Hmm. Right. Alright, let's say... Let's try to make some utilities. What menus is going to be like the main class that stores your menu manager, and your menu manager is going to store a map of fabled menu, which is the actual menu itself. Because you have fabled menus plugin, which has its own instance of fabled menus, in which also has everything else that you need. I'm making it a plugin and a library, so you can use it as either or. If you use a plugin, you'll be able to create your own GUIs from that plugin. But you'll also have all the actions synced if you hook into the library and sync it with the plugin if you choose to do so, because you'll be able to get the plugin's instance of fabled menus, in which case you'll store all of your different things. Fabled menu is the actual GUI in the inventory. Fabled menus is the object that stores everything else, like the menu manager. Does that make sense? Okay. So you would, when you hook into the library, you will call fabledmenus.getInstance, and that'll either return the instance from the plugin that's on the server, or you do get standalone instance if you want to make your own instance of the fabled menus class for your own plugins, and you don't want to hook into other plugins that are hooking into the fabled menus plugin that's on the server. So you either use it, basically you either use it as a library, or you use it as an API in which many plugins can communicate through it. Fabled menu is just to create new menus, so it's not, that's all it is. This class here will dynamically create a menu based on a config that you pass in, or you can use it to make paginated menus later on as well, basically. Because I'm overloading, or I'm overriding the get inventory method from the inventory holder. Because we're implementing inventory holder, which has the get inventory method in it. Okay. They're really handy, really helpful. I could show you an example of an abstract class using menu actions in a bit. So this is our list utils class to get a string list from the config, from any path, even if it's just a string, not a list. It'll also return a list. with that one string in it. And we're also going to make a slot utils class, right? This will turn a string list into a set of integers, which is our inventory slots. You can say public static not null set integer from string list string list, right? So we say final set integer slots equals new hash set return slots. Now we're gonna loop through our list here, right? List dot for each string, because we have a list of strings. If string does not contain a hyphen, then we will attempt to say slots.add integer parse int string. And if it's not an integer, then we will ignore it and I'm going to return anyways here, so we can just ignore the exception, and it's not going to add it to the set. And now we need to split it, right? Final string split equals string split with a hyphen. Okay. If split dot length is less than 2, return. So final int 1, 2, min max. Try. Actually, we can move these below. Min max. There we go. 1 equals integer parse int split 0. And 2 equals integer parse int split 1. Catch number format exception. Now we'll return, because they're not in, one of them's not an integer. And now we'll say min equals math.min 1 2 and max equals math.max 1 2. We could say if min equals max, slots.add min, return. And then now we can loop through into I equals min, I less than or equal to max, I plus plus. And now we'll say slots.add I, and then we're done. So we don't know what I did here. I'll make a new file here, an example. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying slots, I'm saying 1. So now I can format it like this, so the slot that it's in, that the item will be in, is just slot number 1. Or I can say, instead of that, right, I can say this, where I say 1 to 10, like this, then it'll add every slot from 1 to 10 inclusive, and it'll add, yeah, so it'll add slots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And not only that, I can say this as well. I can say slot 1, I want slot 20 through 24 as well. I want slot 35 to 38, etc., etc. And these are strings, so yeah, so I can say that as well. Yeah, so I'm gonna have the configuration look something like this. So 1 to 10 right here, this is technically a string. So it's gonna, first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this input, I'm gonna pass it through list utils to get it as a string list. And then I'm gonna pass it into slot utils to turn that string list into a set of integers. And in this, I'm gonna loop through the string list that we got, and it's gonna check if it contains a hyphen, then it's gonna split it. So I'm gonna have split 0 is the first one before the hyphen, split 1 is the second number after the hyphen, and so it'll loop from the first number to the second number and add every number to the set. So it'll add every slot from 1 to 10 inclusively for the item. So it'll look something like this. We say material stained gray stained glass pane. Display name, just have it white. And then slots can look something like this. It'll look something like that. Yes, it would do every number from 1 to 10 inclusively. So this gray stained glass pane in the GUI will now take slot 1, it'll take slot 20 through 24, and it'll take slot 35 to 38 if I chose to do that. Basically, the whole point of having the slot utils here is to make it easier to define which slots it takes up, so you don't have to add every slot individually. Or you could just do the whole menu from 0 to 53. So that way it takes up the entire GUI. And also you can do that if you want, because the next item, say player, right? Slots, let's just say slot 10. This player head will override the gray stained glass pane in slot 10 because it's below it in the config. Go by inventory names? I'm not sure what you mean by that. It'll look something. This is the basic config for any menu that's not paginated right here. So you have your inventory title, you have your size of the inventory, and then you have all the different contents inside of the inventory. So you have a filler, you have a player head, and so on and so forth. Be able to create with names. Are you talking about the title of the inventory? Because I'm a little confused. Yeah, the title will be set right up here. So is the size. Yeah, I don't know anything about that one. Okay, so this is all good to go. We can add the contents pretty easily, but actually I think we need to make our item utils class, or item builder. Nullable string material. Display name. List string lore. Obviously private int custom model data. So we have material, custom model data, display name, lore, and we'll have some PDC implementation later on. So first off, I like item builder. This is called a copy constructor, where you take the constructor, where you make a new constructor that passes in itself, and so you can just say material equals builder dot material, custom model data equals builder dot custom model data, display name equals builder dot display name, and obviously if builder dot lore not equal null, lore equals new array list builder dot lore. That way you copy the list of strings. That way you don't just set this to a reference as that way you don't set this variable here as a reference to build the old builder's lore list. And yeah, that's about it for the copy constructor for now. We obviously need a normal constructor, otherwise it'll tell you to create or to pass one in every time. And I'm gonna say final no file configuration config string path to the item. I'm gonna say if path ends with dot. If it does not end with it, then path plus equals dot. I will say material equals config get string path plus material, and we'll do default stone. Custom model data equals config get int path plus custom model data default to 0. Display name config get string path plus display name default of null, and lore equals list utils from config path plus lore, and we'll return null if there's not anything at that path. So there we go. Now we have our basic item construction from a config. But now we need to actually build it into an item stack, right? So public item stack build nullable player. We'll have that, and then we'll also say public item stack build, and we'll say return build null. And we also want to say not null for here. There we go. I'm just gonna put this here for now, because we're gonna create another class to handle the parsing of the material string into an item stack. Okay. Public static not null item stack parse not null string material. So here we go. We're going to say final string lower equals material, not too lowercase. And we're going to say try material mat equals material.value of material. Catch illegal argument exception e return new item stack. Or we'll just say mat equals material.stone. And we'll make it not final, and then we'll say return new item stack mat. So there you go. That'll parse just a string, but we have this here, so we're gonna check. We're gonna have a bit of custom materials here. If lower starts with, and I'm gonna say we'll say player. Let's say base 64. Let's do base 64 first. Or, you know what? No, I lied. Let's do player first. It's much easier. So we're going to do, if you have the material set to player dash and then the player name or UID, we will set the item to a custom skull of their head. So item stack skull equals new item stack play material dot player head. Final skull meta equals skull meta skull get item meta. Put that. If the meta is null, return skull. Should be null, but could be somehow. Okay. And since we're using paper, we can say player profile equals create profile UID random ID. Alright, final. So this is gonna say profile set. Yeah, actually, I don't think we need that. I think that's for base 64 stuff. We need that. But for now, we could say string input is equal to material substring. And how many characters is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we start after the 7th character. So this is our input. It's either going to be a player name or a UID. So we're going to say if input dot size or dot length is greater than 16. We're going to assume it's a UID because a player name can't be longer than 16 characters. So we will say UID equals null, and we'll say UID equals, we'll do a try catch, equals UID from string input, and we'll say catch legal argument exception E UID is null, or we'll just return skull here. Here we go. So now we could say offline player target is equal to, well, actually we'll say if UID not equal null, target equals bucket get offline player UID, and else we'll say target equals bucket get offline player input. So that'll be their username. There we go. So now we have our target, and we could say meta set owning player to target, and then skull set item meta and return skull. There we go. I haven't tested this out, but I think that should work. So now we're gonna say if lower starts with base 64, or lower starts with, no, we're gonna say texture instead. Texture. So we're gonna pass in either base 64 value or the texture URL for the skull. With new abstract material dot player head. Okay. Final skull meta equals skull meta get item meta. Okay. If meta is null, return skull. All right. So now we have a texture and or a base 64 string or a URL. So I'm gonna look up an example URL here, right? We'll say minecraft-heads.com. I'm gonna find a custom head. Any custom head will do. So here we go. I have a thing I can test here, right? So let's go make a new class just to test here. PSVM. Okay, there we go. String base 64 equals, and then we're gonna copy the value from micro-heads.com. We're gonna copy the value, not the URL. So this is the value. It's a very long base 64 encoded string here. And then we're gonna say final string URL equals. So then we'll copy the Minecraft URL. So this is what the URL looks like right here. And this is what the value looks like on the website, okay, the base 64 string. So I'm going to show you guys how to decode a base 64 string. So we need final string decoded equals new string base 64, okay, relax, IDE, relax, dot decode, get decoder, dot decode. I think we just need to pass in a string there. So there we go. Now we have the decoded string here. So now I can say s out, right? Base 64. I'm going to pass in base 64. Just like that. S out. Just make a new empty line. S out. URL. URL. Okay. S out again. S out. Decoded. Plus decoded. There we go. And I go ahead and make another empty line here and one up here. Actually, I'm gonna make a kind of like this, right? Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and run this. We're gonna test it out. Should be fine because we don't have any other main main method here. So here we go. Here's our base64 string right here. Here's our URL. And you can see here, this is what the base64 string decodes into. It decodes into a texture property that you can put on the skull, but it also has the URL right here, which I just clicked on. What also has the URL that we copied from up here, has the same one right down here inside of the base64 value. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this decoded value, right? Just copy that. I'm gonna say paste that here, just so I can get the accurate character count. This is 28 characters long. So we're gonna say string decoded URL equals decoded dot substring 28, and then decoded dot size or dot length minus 4, I believe, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there we go. Now we can go ahead, paste out or print out the decoded URL. So now it'll also print out the URL again from the base64 string. There we go. So now we have the URL from the base64 value. That's how you decode base64 strings in Java. So there we go. Make that a bit smaller. There we go. Alright, so we're going to use this in our material utils class right here. So we're going to say, first off, how long is the URL text here? So I can go here and go here. This is 102 characters long, while this one is 180. So we could say if, actually we don't need the length, we can just say, we can just check if the string contains HTTP or textures.minecraft.net. If, first off, string input equals material.substring, and this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters. So we'll start after the 8th character. Okay. And now we will say if input contains net.mine or textures.minecraft.net. So it's not the URL. And we will say input equals new, sorry, we'll just say string decoded equals base64 get decoder decode input, and we obviously need to wrap that in a new string. There we go. And then we can say input equals decoded substring 28 decoded dot length minus 4. So now we have the URL. We are assured that this is the URL unless it is not a base64 string, in which case I think it'll just return a Steve head because it's an invalid texture or whatever, or URL. So now we'll say player profile bucket create profile UID random UID profile get properties dot add profile property. I believe we need to call it textures, and then we pass in the input. There we go. And then we can say meta set player profile, and then skull set item meta, and then return skull. So there we go. And that's how you use either base64, either a base64 value or a texture URL to get a custom skull texture. And it's also how you do it for a specific player input. Alright, we have all of our stuff parsed that we need. So it's either a player skull or a normal material here. So now we go back to our item builder, and instead of all this, we say final item stack equals material utils dot parse material. What we have there. And we can also pass in the player here. Let's actually copy this. We could put it underneath. Return parse material null. Okay. And then back all the way up at the top here, we're going to add a player parameter. Final nullable player. Okay. Now we'll make the material not final. So we could say material equals material that replace player with player get name. First off, that's if player is not null. There we go. So there's that, and then we can do placeholder API stuff as well. Let me go ahead and get that dependency in. I'll also hook into head database, the plugin that uses minecraft-heads.com anyways. So we can do that as well. So we have placeholder API and head database dependencies. Let's go ahead and add that in here. And database client false load before. Here we go. Let's go back over here. Material say player. There we go. Material is nullable, so we need to say if material is null, we'll pass in stone. Otherwise, pass in material. There we go. All right, now we have our item stack. Get the item meta now. The item meta. So now, if meta is null, return item stack. Okay. If display name not null, then we will say item meta set display name. So we need to make our mini message stuff as well. Display name. So we'll just do that for now. If war not equal null, then we will say we'll just pass in the string for now until we make our mini message class, mini message handler class. Of course, now we also have custom model data, meta set custom model data, custom model data. There we go. Item stack set item meta turn item stack. So there we go. Now we've built it. Let's go ahead and make our mini message stuff, right? Mini color. Okay. Well, this doesn't have to mean enum because I'm only using it for inventory stuff. Well, actually, we might need it for chat as well. You know what? It'd be a lot easier. Let's just copy it over from Master Prism because it's the same thing I'm going to use anyways. Common, here, utils, mini color. There we go. Easy. Don't gotta spend all of our time worrying about it. Okay, mouse. Gosh, my mouse is always so annoying. Whenever I come back to my computer, I always have to like recalibrate or change the... Yeah, I pretty much gotta recalibrate my mouse so it doesn't keep moving when I'm not even trying to move the mouse. And I don't know why that is. This is the worst. Okay. Okay, come on. You know standard tags. I know you know standard tags. There we go. All right, mini color is in. Now we just need to say mini colored dot inventory dot deserialize, or there we go. Same thing up here. Go back. Remove all this. Unique color dot inventory deserialize display name. There we go. So we're also going to make our placeholder API utils class, right? There we go. Public static, not null, string parse, nullable player, not null, string input. If has placeholder API or player is null, then return input. Otherwise, return placeholder API, set placeholders, player input. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for our string lists. Okay, list string, there we go. Perfect. That's this class done. And now we're going to make another one for base utils. Okay. Public static not null. No. The static boolean has head database turn bucket get plugin manager get plugin head database not equal null. Don't know why I had to make this one private. Just make public. Come on. God, the arrow keys on this laptop keyboard are so tiny. Okay. Public static nullable stack get from ID string ID. Okay. If as database turn null. Okay. Head database API. All right. If API is null, then API equals this. Right. And we're also going to say right here API is null. Okay, so if it's null, then set it to that, and then I'll say return API dot get item head ID. There we go. So now I'm going to say, let's go over to here. I'm going to say if lower starts with HDB final string ID equals material dot substring 4, because there's only 4 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And item stack head equals head database utils dot get from ID. Head is null. And we'll say return head null. So not equal null, then head. Otherwise, new item stack material dot player head. Now we could do that in the get from ID method. We just return that. Not null. Go return There we go. Perfect. All right, great. So now we can pass in a head database value, right? Custom head database, right? We just pass in anything we want here. Material HDB-101 or something, right? Display name, custom head, or head database, right? And then we'll say, let's say player dash that. Actually, no, material will be player dash player for the player's head, right? We'll say player head. Again, if player's null, it'll just return probably we'll probably return a skull with just a Steve head. And then head database, obviously, and then we'll say head base 64. And we will have that base 64 value again. There we go. It's really long and ugly string, but you know, some head more and from base 64 string. Okay. And then obviously head URL. God dang. Okay, there we go. Material, say texture dash. I might change from texture to just say head. That makes a bit more sense. I need to change the 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm change it from 8 to 5 right here. There we go. Say head dash, copy the URL. There we go. And then display name, custom head, war gray from a texture URL. There we go. This 64 value texture URL from head database. And then slot 10, say 11, 12, and 13. There we go. So this is our example menu. It has a filler example, it has a player head example, it has a head base 64 example, URL head example, and a head database example. All right, perfect. We can actually check which ID the head that I'm using in these two examples are for head database, because it says it on the website. It is ID 110,795. That's the ID of the head I'm using that has this texture URL and this base 64 value. All right. If you don't know what head database is, it's just a plugin that allows you to get any head from minecraft-heads.com in-game through a GUI. So yeah. So we have our constructor here and our copy constructor here, but we don't have any set and get methods for this stuff. So let's go ahead and create that, right? Public not null item builder, set material. Okay, public nullable string get material, return material. Okay. All right. Public not null item builder set custom model data. Add custom model data. This dot custom model data equals custom model data. Right, return this. Public int get custom model data. Return custom model data. There we go. Set display name. Not null. String display name. Actually, we're gonna make this nullable. Because if you set a item's display name to null on the meta, then it'll basically remove it and set it back to the material's name. But there shouldn't be a problem because we're checking if it's not null and then we're only applying it if it's not null anyways. So basically in this case it'll just not apply it. Okay. Public nullable string get display name. Turn display name. Okay. Public not null item builder set lore nullable list string lore. Okay, list dot lore. So if lore is null, this dot lore equals null. Turn this. Okay. Otherwise, this dot lore equals new array list lore. Turn this. There we go. Public nullable list string get lore return if lore is null, turn null, otherwise turn new array list lore. There we go. I'm gonna make some add methods here for the lore, right? Public not null item builder add lore final not null string lore, right? If this dot lore is null, then when I say return set lore list dot of lore right there. Otherwise, this dot lore dot add all list dot of lore. Turn this, okay? And again, we're gonna say we're actually gonna say another method here. Add lore final not null list string lore. So we're gonna say this instead. There we go. I'm gonna say return add lore list dot of lore. There you go. Simplified it a bit. All right. So now we're done actually with this class for now. Our build methods, we have our getters and setters, we have our constructors, and we have our field members up here. All right, cool. We actually, before I forget, we actually need to do parse for the display name as well, and the lore list. Which is fine because it doesn't matter if the player is null because I already checked for that in the parse method here. But let me just make this look a little bit better. There we go. All right, and then obviously we also want to do that in the parse method for here. If player is not null, it doesn't actually matter. So we're gonna say material parse player, and we'll just move it in here because why not? It doesn't have to check twice in this case. Well, I guess it does, but it doesn't matter where I put it. I could put this above it. It won't matter. But you know what we could do is we could say this here. So dot replace, and I'm also going to say dot replace UID with player get unique ID dot toString. There we go. All right, that's all that. That'll replace any player variables and placeholder API placeholders in the material string that you put in. All right. All right. So now we have our item builder class. We don't need to make a menu item class that extends this because we're only using this for our menus. Well, actually, yes, I do, because I'm not gonna. Our paginated items aren't gonna have a slot on them. They're gonna be their paginated item will have their slots configured elsewhere. So I'm actually gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna make another menu item builder, extends item builder. Okay, I'm gonna create matching super for this one and for the other one. Okay, this will super config path, so that way it'll run everything here, and then same thing here. You pass in the builder, it'll change everything here as well. Let's make this final. Okay. There we go. So now the menu item, the only difference is that it's gonna have a set of integers for the slots that it's gonna be in. It's like that. This will be not null. Slots equals slot utils dot from string list utils from config path plus slots. So that. And we also need to check again if path ends with dot and path plus equals dot, just like that. There we go. So now the slots are already being set here. We just now need to say, and this can't be an item builder, it has to be a menu item builder specifically. Yeah, I know. Okay, so yeah, it recognizes this is a copy constructor. It says this does not copy the field slots, which is fine. That's what we're going to change right now. So this dot slots equals new hash. Well, we don't need this dot slots equals new hash set builder slots. There we go. Easy. Now we can say public not null set integer get slots return new hash set slots. That way you're not returning a reference of the set up here. That way they can't modify it. Now we're gonna make some setters and stuff. Set slots equals new hash set slots. Okay, there we go. Return this. We're gonna say public not null menu item builder set slots not null list string slots. Okay, so return set slots slot utils from string list slots. There we go. Okay, and we're gonna have add methods here. Public not null menu item builder add slots final int slot slots dot add all slot set dot of slot no list of no. I think I should say obviously this can't be in the parameter, but set integer and int. Maybe it needs to be integer. Yeah, there we go. Let's say not null. Alright, cool. Let me check if that actually works like this. Yeah, cool. Okay, don't need to do that then. Turn this. Okay, public menu item builder. I'm gonna actually do something here, just like we did with the lore. Let's say set integer. I'm gonna say turn, add slots, set of slots. There we go, just like that. Last but not least, we're gonna have a list of string that we can pass in. Not null. There we go. Cool, we're done. So now we have our menu item builder specifically for our contents. Everything underneath this key here. And then we have our item builder for anything else we might need, like the page edited item that shouldn't have slots stored on it. So there we go. Now we can get to our menu, right? Now we can add contents to it. Private final map. And we'll say, actually we could just do a list of item menu, item builder. Say contents. Playlist, there we go. So we'll say that, right? Config get configuration section contents. Content section. If content section is null, turn, okay. Content section get keys false for each ID, right? Or key, I should say. Item key. We're going to say contents.add new menu item builder config, and the path is contents dot plus key plus dot. There we go. And now all of our contents are easily being loaded. And then we can easily put them in here. So, contents for each builder. Final set integer slots equals builder get slots. Might not actually need this, but okay, you know what? Final item stack item equals builder build play. There we go. Okay, and then we'll say builder get slots for each slot. Inventory set item slot item. Yep. And again, we're building the item stack outside of this for loop right here. So we're not building it for every slot. We're just building it for every item builder that we have in our list up here. Because they're going to be the same item just in different slots. So there's no point of building it multiple times. Okay. So now our contents are being added automatically to the inventory. same thing there. All right. Yeah. And we're not storing the config as a variable up here because I don't think we're gonna have a reload method for these menus. It's just when you reload, you're gonna clear out the menu map in the menu manager, and you're gonna just recreate them from the files or whatever else. All right. Yeah, that'll do it. All right. So this is our menu. It has our items. What we don't have is click actions. We don't have a listener to prevent them from taking the items out of the menu. We don't have dynamically creating menus yet. So let's go ahead and go here. So our menu manager here. I'm gonna say public void or private void. Actually, yeah, private void load default load plugin menus. So we're gonna say load plugin menus, and this will be for the main plugin here, the fabled menus plugin specifically. We're gonna actually say public void load folder. There we go. If folder exists, return. This is gonna say load folder, fabled menus plugin, get instance, get data folder. So actually what we need to do is say new file menus. There we go. And again, we can say if fabled menus plugin there we go. So it's not gonna load, it's not gonna attempt to load the menus for our plugin if it's not on the server, aka if the instance of our main class, this one, is null. Otherwise, if it's not loaded, or aka if it's not loaded. So if folder doesn't exist, return, and then we're gonna say final file files equals folder list files. Okay. If files is null for some reason, return. Okay. Final file files. So we're gonna loop through our list of files here. I'm gonna say final string name, file name, get name, final string name. Actually, we'll say if file name starts with underscore or file name ends with .yml. So if it does not end with .yml, say continue to skip that file. So if it starts, the file name starts with an underscore or it doesn't end with .yml, then we ignore it, basically. The underscore is simply a way of disabling a menu without having to change the file extension. All right. Now that we have that, we'd say final string menu name is equal to file name substring 0 file name length minus 4. So it gets rid of the extension. Okay. Now we say menus dot put new fabled menu So we don't have a file configuration. We need to do load configuration from this file. Here we go. And then pass in new name. Or actually just that, and then the menu name. Dang it, I'm doing this wrong. Menu name, and then put the new fabled menu in the map. Add this file name for the with this file configuration, and then that will automatically load everything for the menu from that file. So there we go. So now we have all of these dynamically loading every menu inside of a specific folder that we pass in. Yeah. Okay. I'm not 100% sure this will work specifically, but what I might need to do actually is create a separate project for the actual plugin side itself, and just implement this library into that plugin. So I might need. So yeah, again, I'm not sure if this will work because it's in the same project, and you'll be also importing this class here. So we might need to change that up later on. Anyways. Okay, all right. I think I want to call it here. I think. I've been streaming for an hour and 35. That's not terrible. The only reason I'm not going longer is just I'm kind of tired. But I'll make a to-do list in our class here. To do, right? Make actions prevent interacting with items in menu. Make click actions for items in menu. Make click requirements for items in menu. Test if the library works without the plugin on the server. Alright, so that's quite a bit to do, and obviously we need to do pagination, which is a big one. I would say that these are the biggest to-dos, but they're not too difficult. We'll figure out pagination. That's the biggest to do. Most annoying one, I would say. So let's go ahead and make real quick menus folder. Put this in here, and also refactor it to just be called _example menu, so it doesn't actually load it in. We don't need it to be loaded in. And then we'll have an admin command to open any menu from the file here that's registered, and we will also have a way to make a command way to register a command to open a menu. We'll do that as well. And then we'll check for making subcommands work for that as well. But we'll have to see how it'll work. So obviously deluxe menus has it so that you could do like slash gem shop or something like that to open a menu, but we'll have to see how to do subcommands for it to make it work, because that's a bit trickier than just saying like slash gem shop, for example. But yeah, this is the to-do list, and we will get around to that at some point. I do want to. I think our next stream will be more of this, just because I want to get this done before I continue working on other plugins. So it'll make it much easier to just use this library in Astra and my chat plugin. If we need menus, which I think we will eventually, I think I'm gonna make like an admin configuration menu, stuff like that. But we'll see. And like yeah, I think we'll do that. Anyways, that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope nothing was too confusing. You can always join my Discord and ask questions. And obviously join the Discord to suggest new tutorials to do for Paper API, or write them in the comments, the suggestion. Because I think I'm going to start a tutorial series for Paper soon, starting with just commands and listeners. And then we will go from there with suggestions. And we will, and those tutorials will be live streams as well, so not just videos. That way, if you're ever seeing me stream a tutorial, you can hop in and ask questions if it's something that you need a tutorial for. And obviously I'll ping in the Discord whenever I go live and what tutorial I'll be working on. So you can also join the Discord to be notified of that, in case you have the time to join in and ask questions throughout the tutorial. I generally think that live streaming code is better than just making videos of it. For one, I don't have to edit anything, I don't have to render and all that. I don't have to upload it afterwards. Because I've already basically uploaded it if I'm live streaming. And two, it's better because you can ask questions and engage and clarify things live when people ask you in the chat. It's just better communication. So yeah, I think that's my main view on live streaming versus just recording. And yeah, those are our future plans. I'm not sure when I'll start, but it is almost Christmas. So happy holidays, everyone, if I don't stream before Christmas or New Year's. Happy holidays. And we will see you next time.